Hey, what's up? My name's Anthony Bear. This is episode 1 of my new podcast I'm calling In the Chair with Bear. I'm going to be talking with entrepreneurs, business leaders, philosophers, writers, creators, people that are making a difference, that are driven by purpose. I love telling good stories. Our first story comes from a guy named Raymond Mohler who started his foundation when he was only 4 years old, helping kids in hospitals by cheering them up and giving away actually his own birthday and Christmas presents to these kids in the hospital. He's been doing that every year ever since, and now he does it all year round. So give it up for Ray, and let's hear what he's got to say. All right, you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, I'm here with Ray Mohler, the founder of Little Saint Nick Foundation. How's it going, man?
All good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's really good to see you, and I'm so impressed with the work that you're doing and that you've been doing for so long. Do you want to share with everyone your project and what you're working on?
Yeah, I know. Geez, I've known you for 15 years maybe, and maybe even longer. I don't know. But, feels like towards the beginning of this, I started this organization. I was just 4 years old. I woke up one morning, had pain in both of my hips, and I couldn't walk. So I'm from Long Island, and my parents took me to the local children's hospital here, and it was very traumatic. No idea what was wrong with me, and nothing to do to keep my mind off of things. At the time, there was no cell phones, and it was just a chaotic environment. And at the end of the day, I found that I had a rare hip joint disease, which luckily I was able to deal with outside the hospital for 2 years and made a full recovery. But at the time when I found this out, all I cared about was I was able to go home from the hospital. And I asked my parents on the way home, what about those other kids? Are they going home today too? And they said, well, no, sometimes they have to stay there for days or months or years. And I couldn't believe that after my one day. So this was in the summertime, and I kept asking, how can I help these kids? What can I do? And eventually I had the idea to give back my birthday and Christmas gifts to the hospital I was in. And my birthday is Christmas Eve, so it kind of fit together. And when I turned 5, I went back to the hospital, gave all my gifts. And it was just such a great feeling naturally that I wanted to keep doing more. So the following holiday season, I not only gave my own gifts for when I was turning 6, but I asked friends and family for toy donations, and I was able to give about 3 times the amount from the year before. And it was at that point my parents said, we do air conditioning and heating, but if you want to keep doing this, we'll help you start a nonprofit. And, it was just that natural feel, that gut instinct that I knew that, I needed to help and I wanted to keep helping. And that's how the Little Saint Nick Foundation began. And, over the years, as you've seen it grown, it was really my vision of what I think, other kids could use in these times of crisis, whether they're in the hospital, the emergency department, they're out of the hospital, they're dealing with, whatever illness like I had to deal with outside the hospital. As a kid, with my parents kind of carrying out the logistics, and we did what we could here on Long Island for, a really long time with just friends and family and the support that we had here. So it was truly, a family business kind of from the get-go.
Well, it's amazing that it came to you naturally, that sort of altruism to give your own toys. I mean, I know my kids, I don't see them giving away their toys to anybody, They barely are willing to share their toys with their friends. And you sort of had this natural want to share that. And that's something that's, it seems to me is carried all the way through, and that now it's what inspires you is to just have more opportunity to give more.
Yeah. It was just whatever I could do physically possible with, being a student, playing travel hockey, my parents running their own business, we did what we could. And, it was just such gratification every time we were able to go to a hospital or grant a wish to a sick kid, or take a bunch of kids to Toys R Us and let them shop for Christmas gifts, where if we didn't do that, they wouldn't get Christmas gifts. And the relationships and everything happening really naturally. And we call it the power of Saint Nick. And, that's kind of been our mantra. And if something doesn't feel right, if we feel like we're pushing something here, or we're getting resistance, we know to look the other way, because that's not how things work here. The good we do, good naturally flows from it.
Yeah. When did you kind of make the transition? Like, when did you feel a transition happen from your parents more being in control of how things flowed, and then to when you sort of took the wheel?
Yeah. Well, it was always my vision. We never did anything without, my kind of, not approval, but me saying, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And my parents figured out a way to make it happen. And that's been their whole life story. They've always figured out a way to make things happen. And, and you were with me when we went to St. Louis for that St. Louis story, which I'll tell now, that was really the massive turning point in our organization, in my life, when I was a senior in high school, and I was on a Nickelodeon documentary, which highlighted only 10 kids from across the country doing some sort of community service. I had just committed to the University of Tampa at the time to go to school. I really didn't know what the future held for this organization or myself. And it was a really cool documentary. It aired. It was a nice way to cap off my high school career, my Long Island life, and getting ready to go down to Tampa. And I think it was in July or August, right before I started school, that 12-year-old boy, Aga, reached out to us and said, I was just in the hospital with a broken leg, and I saw your show, and I want to do what you do. And, at that time I was saying, well, I'm just trying to learn how to be a college student, just do a fundraiser or something and, send us a check. But he said, no, I want to do everything I saw on the show, which we did a toy drive. We had a big party in the hospital with the kids. We packed our gift bags. We gave those gift bags out. And he said, I want to do all this in St. Louis. So I said, you know what? This feels right. This could be something really cool. Let's go with it. So I spent my first college semester, and with your help too, trying to plan this out. How's it going to look? How's it going to work? How can we make the most of our, 3 or 4 days when we go to St. Louis? Right. I think it was right the week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And, we really didn't know what to expect. We were trying to envision it, but, we're dealing with strangers essentially.
Yeah.
But, you can feel that this 12-year-old boy really wanted to do good and was really inspired. So when we went out there, you saw the magic of it, from him putting on the volunteer event with 100 Honor Society kids, to hosting a toy drive at local schools. We're never doing that before. And in October, when it's not really the giving season yet, to organizing a lot of logistics with the hospitals for us to go there and give out the gift bags, have our toy party. And, it really showed not just the impact of helping, but inspiring. To me, that event where there was those 100 kids who had no idea what Little Saint Nick was, but they just heard volunteer opportunity and they jumped all over it. And then they were able to volunteer. And at the end, we got those great testimonials, and all of a sudden they're like, wow, this is awesome. That's what really turned for me. And I think you saw it too there, that magic of those other kids helping kids, because forever it was just Ray Mohler Jr. helping kids with his parents behind the scenes, not other people helping other kids. So from then on, it was kids inspiring, helping kids. Let's do this. Let's build a business plan. Let's get a larger board, and let's see how we can bring this everywhere, because we put this in St. Louis, and all it took was one 12-year-old boy to make this happen. And it was so simple and easy that we said we should be able to duplicate this. And that really was the turning point. And it's been full steam ahead since then in 2017.
Wow. Yeah, I remember making that video and just seeing those kids coming in from the cancer ward and kind of like in a wheelchair or pulling around their IVs with them and stuff. And
we should post that video link with this.
Yeah, I know. So it's so powerful. And it was, obviously, I have 3 daughters, and at the time, I had 2, and my youngest was pretty young, was like 3 or no, she was like 2 years old. And I just remember, like, I couldn't barely even hold it together, man. I was like, I'm tearing up now just thinking about it, because it was so emotional for me to just see especially the parents. I think that's what hit me really hard, was seeing the parents. And
That's the thing no one thinks about. The parents aren't working. They're trying to support their kid while being there. They're trying to support their kid while, getting the financial means for things, and no one thinks about that. It's a whole family that's in the fight of whatever they're going through in the hospital, and it trickles to the doctors and nurses. They're seeing them every day and they're helping them every day. It's really simple gift bags and programs that we have that have this much larger impact than just saying one kid,
Right. And it does amplify and reaches out to affect so many people. How do you keep how do you keep it together in that situation? Like, how do you have this sort of emotional fortitude to to keep, I don't know, you sort of keep a really good composure, and you kind of have this really warm energy with everybody. And
I think because I grew up around it. Really, I think the first time we interacted with kids in the hospital was I was just about to turn 7, and we went to a local hospital here on Long Island, and we donated probably 500 toys. And the nurses polled all the kids on the floor based on their age and their gender, and asked them some things that they would like. We'd go and we'd pick out a toy and we'd bring it to them, and just seeing that sheer joy kind of just melted away any of the negative stuff. And it kind of hits me after the events, after you go, for instance, to a St. Mary's hospital here in Bayside, where the same kids are still there from when I'm 12 years old, and now I'm 24, and they're still there, and they look forward to seeing us every year. And most of them are, abandoned, and those things. In the moment, it's joyous because we know we're bringing the joy, but then after the events, you decompress, and it's it drags a lot of energy out of you. To be able to give. So if for outsiders, you see some of our volunteers come into these settings, and it's it pulls on them, and we got to kind of prepare them before they go in. But for myself, growing up in that environment, I just see the positives in what we're bringing to the table, rather than, wow, this is really sad and all. But for that moment, for those few hours that we're there, or with our gift bag program, we know every single day a kid entering a hospital we work with is getting that gift bag, and it just totally changes everything. And that's our focus, is the positive side of it, and let the negative side just fade away.
I feel like that was the time when we came up with that, kids helping other kids, helping and inspiring kids. And I think there was this moment for me when we were in the hospital, and I watched Aga go up to one of the girls and give her something, and I could see he changed in that moment. He got what he was doing. We did the fundraiser, we did the volunteer event, the gift bag packing event, and everything like that. And he was there for all that, and we were doing it all. But then it wasn't until that moment where he's looking at this girl who's had her IV, and she's looking at him, and he hands her something, and she smiles. It wasn't even anything important. It was like a bracelet. I think it was one of those little Saint Nick plastic or bracelet things, and it was so profound. I captured that moment on camera, and I remember just thinking, that's it. That's the whole thing right there. Because a kid can somehow give another kid a gift, and it means something different than if an adult does it. It was
totally different connection. Kids, just like myself, I had the natural feel and that natural, goodness that all kids are born with, to want to give back and want to get, myself involved in something positive, because you don't know any different when you're a kid. You don't know those negative things until you're exposed to it. So that's our whole mantra now, is if we can expose kids to these good, positive experiences, they're going to grow up to be better people. And I think we've had kids as young as 2 years old helping us pack our gift bags or coloring a little get well card. And, now they're growing up in an environment with other like-minded kids that are trying to give back. And it's really cool to see. But it all stems from that St. Louis experience. When you see it in action, you can kind of now feel it when you don't see it. And then when we packed last 2 weeks ago, we packed 500 Fit and 50 gift bags for Cohen's Medical Center here. And we had 20 kids there packing the bags and making cards. And one of the kids, I believe he's 2 or 3, was right on the assembly line packing the bags. And he's gotten the bag probably 15, 20 times in his life because he has his own medical journey. And he's seen all the stuffed animals and stuff. And he has that one. And now he kind of sees the gift bag and knows, oh, wow, I got that. And now he kind of puts the pieces together that he's packing them for other kids. And just naturally, this 2.5-year-old is packing bags like you couldn't believe. It's that it was really cool to see that natural connection. And, for myself, I haven't, and we haven't really seen another organization out there that focuses solely on kids, focusing on all the giving and having it be localized. We operate in New York and in Tampa, and all the gift bags and get well cards are made by local kids that go to local hospitals. So it's something pretty cool. And today we currently inspire and help 300 kids every day. And that's something we're really proud of. And, with more resources, we can keep growing that number, and it can only keep going up.
I love it. And that leads into my next question, which is really like, what's coming, man? What's happening next? What are we looking forward to?
Yeah, we're really dove into Tampa in the last year. COVID kind of derailed some of our plans, but we kind of used Tampa as our first expansion city because I was going to school there. And when we did volunteer events or anything in New York, we tried to duplicate it in Tampa while I was going to school and see if it worked. And the first backpacking event we had at the University of Tampa, we had 300 students show up midday to pack 1,000 gift bags and make get well cards. And that's when we knew, okay, this is something that people can naturally gravitate to and easily just hop in line or easily make a get well card quick. So we really started diving our teeth into Tampa. October of 2021, we've had maybe 20 different drives and backpacking events since then. We partnered with a new hospital recently. We're partnering with a few more here on Long Island. And, our whole mantra is let's just go with the good and what's working, and we're lucky to have a lot of volunteers across the board that are able to inspire kids to make get well cards from all over. We partner with this company, Cards for Kids, that sends us and get well cards from kids all over the world that we're able to put in the gift bags. And, we're really connecting kids no matter where you are with that, still having that local feel of the local kids packing the bag. So our goal is to take this wherever it makes sense. If there's an opportunity with a hospital, a business sponsor, or a boy like Aga in St. Louis, we're going to go down that avenue and see how we can make the resources work.
That's awesome. And I saw you guys were just recently on the news in Tampa.
Yeah.
Just the other day,
same thing. Power of St. Nick. They sent us a Facebook. They commented on one of our Facebook posts, this feature reporter, and we did a great little segment of a 7-year-old boy who got 15 of his friends together. His mom went out and purchased 120 items for our gift bags, got 15 of his friends together. They all went to a park. They packed the gift bags, made get well cards. Now he wants to get his whole school involved. And his mom is a nurse at the new hospital we're going to be partnering with down in Tampa. And what was really cool about it was this boy, Liam, got 15 of his friends together from school on this Sunday to go to a park. But the parents had no idea who they were. It was truly just one kid getting his 15 friends involved, but the parents didn't even know each other. So the kids were packing bags. They're having a great time. And the parents are just introducing themselves like, okay, cool. Our kids all want to give back. And it was truly a kids helping kids event that was kind of put on by other kids, It wasn't
so cool.
Dragging them there. It was the 7-year-old boy saying, hey guys, we're going to pack bags and make get well cards for kids in the hospital today. So that was that feature. We're going to have another feature coming up with Fox News locally in Tampa. They want to feature our student organization, which we partner with different college campuses to inspire college students to pack gift bags, fundraise, and just keep spreading the mission. So we have our student org down in Tampa. We're going to do a cool feature with that. And all natural, organic flow. And that's what we're about. So
I love it. I love it. And so it feels like a lot of it just comes from the desire to want to give.
yep.
And it's like the magic just comes out of that.
Yeah, that's it. Whether kids realize it or not, when they come to an event, they make a get well card, they pack a bag, they see all the other kids and just feel the energy of everyone wanting to give back. It's contagious, and
Yeah, it feels great.
It's feel good stuff. Whether someone knows what Little Saint Nick is, our history, or even where the bags are going, they can just feel that they're giving back in some capacity.
Yeah.
And we've heard of a lot of different kids that come to us saying, "Oh, my son couldn't volunteer because he was 10 and not 11. This organization said he had to be 11." Like all this crazy things. We want kids to embrace their inner goodness and their ability to give back as young as possible.
Yeah. Man, thanks so much for everything that you're doing, and congratulations on all the great work. And we'll continue, to support you,
Yeah.
obviously, on the journey. I mean, we're all about this journey, so whatever we can do.
That's it. Yep. We're taking it a day at a time and doing all that we can. Once we start to get some more big sponsors and donors in, we can really start to scale this out. So everyone knows $10 right now packs one of our gift bags, and they contain a coloring book, crayon, stuffed animal, those new Pop-It toys everyone loves, and the handmade Get Well card. So I currently distribute about 1,000 a month between New York and Tampa, and we can just keep pumping out more the more resources we get.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks so much for your work.
And
yeah,
so
we'll
people
share
can
more
see your
about it.
work, littlesaintnick.org, littlestnick.org.
Yeah.
And put that together, and we really honed in our messaging and the great videos on there, the St. Louis stories on there, and
Yeah.
everyone can kind of see the visuals of what we just talked about.
Yeah, we'll share that out for sure
Awesome.
with this. All right. Thanks, Ray.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here and being the first guest on the
I'm honored.
show.
It's gonna be great. Spread people's stories and goodness. It just inspires more and more people, and any setting, whether it's nonprofit or just stories of triumph, whatever it is. So
do you have any advice for any like young 4 or 5-year-old out there who's like feeling inspired right now to want to give back and do something? I mean,
hey, we make it easy. We just created a Get Well card template with our logo on it. Kids can easily print that out, color in our logo, write a little message, sign their name, and send them in to us. So,
that's great.
Wherever kids are anywhere in the world, we're always accepting Get Well cards, and that's the easiest way for kids to give back without having to spend any money or go anywhere.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put a link for that all right. Thanks, Ray. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you. All the best with this.